Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Also welcome to a new speed build video. In today's video I'm going to build a classic suburban family home. I really was in the mood for something classic, something that feels homey, because that's the type of build that I like the most, and that for me is like the most fun to create and to furnish. Also, when I say classic traditional suburban house, I don't mean it in a negative way. Actually, on the contrary, I really like this particular style, so yeah, don't take it as a negative thing, but I really actually like this style. So yeah, especially after the Growing Together pack was released, we now have all those building assets needed to create those craftsman and suburban style houses. This house has 4 bedrooms, one of which is an infant nursery, and 3.5 bathrooms. As the inspiration for this house, I was thinking about, as I said, those traditional suburban houses that I see in TV programs that are based in the US or maybe in Canada. Definitely, I wasn't thinking about the houses here in Italy where I live, because we don't have that type of houses. So you'll see that also the inside feels very cozy and very suburban-y. Anyway, I am building on a 30 by 20 lot in Newcrest, which is one of the base game worlds, as you probably know already. However, I feel like that the style of this house would also fit very well in maybe San Sequoia, because I'm using a lot the Growing Together expansion pack, or maybe even in Copperdale. I actually thought of building in one of those two worlds. However, I feel like it's been a really long time since I last built in Newcrest, which by the way is one of my favorite worlds. And you might say, how can it be your favorite world? Because there's literally nothing. And you know what? That for me is the biggest selling point of the world, the fact that it's completely empty. Because as someone who loves to build in The Sims, I love when I have many empty lots to choose from. This one is called the Hillside Highlands, and I really like it here because of the lighting. You know, the lighting is really good. Now this lot is bigger front to back than it is left to right, and for me this is a little bit of a downside, but it's also one of the reasons why I decided to build here, because I don't typically go for this lot size, because I really struggle with backyards normally, and with this lot you end up having a lot of backyard space, because as I said, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's really long. So if you don't make a really big house, then you have a lot of space in the back, and then you kind of have to think about what to do, and I'm not really good at that, but I think I managed to do a good job in the back. I mean, I really like how it turned out, the backyard, but you'll see that later, actually in a little bit. This is one of the reasons why I kind of struggled. But now if you wanted to move this house to another world, because maybe you want your family to live somewhere else, you could, because as I said before, this lot style fits well in other worlds. The thing is, there aren't many lots in other worlds, I feel like, that are this size. So maybe you can like place this house on a 40 by 30 lot if you wanted to, and I think it should be fine. Anyway, as you can see, the structure of the build is now completed, and I'm now going around and placing down some stuff. I'm doing the landscaping as well in the front. I'm placing down a couple of trash cans in the front, a debug car in the driveway. I also placed down a bike for the kids, and I also placed down the basketball net above the garage door. Basically, I imagined that, actually, before I say this, let me tell you about the family that lives here. So I imagined that the household is made of a set of parents and 3 kids. One of the kid is a teen, the other one is a child, and the other one is an infant. Basically, I imagined that one of the parents is into basketball, so they love playing basketball, and maybe when they were in high school, they used to be in the basketball team and maybe even got a scholarship through basketball, but then they decided to take a different path and go to university to study something, maybe business or something like that. I haven't got a specific career in mind for the parents, but I imagined that then this parent decided to start a career in another field. However, basketball still remains a great passion of theirs, so when they have some free time, they like to play basketball in their front yard. I also had an idea for one of their children, but I'm going to go into more depth about the kids once I furnish their bedrooms. So now I quickly want to mention what I did on the exterior of the house. The window combination that I decided to go for this house is a mix between two windows from the university pack, and I'm talking about the windows with shutters. Then I used the usual window from the Snow Escape pack that I always use. If you know me, you know that that window is one of my favorites. And another window, the big one that you saw me placing down in the front and also in the back, and I'm talking about the window from the industrial loft kit. I really like that window, and even though it's from the industrial loft kit, which as you could probably imagine is a complete different vibe, I feel like it fits perfectly in a suburban house. I also used a window from the base game to simulate a garage door. And you know me, you know that whenever I build traditional family homes, I like to have a garage with a debug car in front of the door. Even though it's just pretending and it's not functional, to me it's really nice, it's realistic, so that's something I do a lot. And even though we don't have cars and the garage door isn't functioning because, you know, it's a wall with windows and columns, I still think it looks really cute. Moving on, you could see that also in terms of wallpaper, I used a combination of different textures and colors. I decided to go for stone from Growing Together, and I also placed down the matching columns in the front and in the back. Then I went for shingle from also the Growing Together pack, and then base game siding. I love how the exterior turned out. I was very excited to share this house with you because I'm really proud of it. And as I said before, this house has a huge space in the back because the lot is really long. So I decided to also include a swimming pool in the back garden. However, I imagined that when the family bought this house originally, it didn't have a swimming pool but was added later. And I feel like it's really realistic because sometimes you buy a house which is less expensive and then maybe you start saving up to make some adjustments. And I imagined that maybe the parents, when they started having kids, they decided to save up to get their kids a pool. And maybe when they bought the house, they didn't have enough money to pay for a house with a swimming pool, which I imagine would be more expensive. So, you know, later they save up and decided to have one. So I imagined that when they bought this house, there was just a big empty garden with just grass, and then with time it was transformed and it looks like this. It looks like the garden that you're seeing right now. When I was building the garden, I was thinking about my house because I also grew up without a swimming pool. But then my parents decided to get one, and what we had to do was to place down some tiles where the swimming pool was supposed to go to create like a little platform. And my swimming pool is not the one that's in the ground, but it's the one that's above the ground, but it still requires some sort of platform beneath. Also, because you can't place like a swimming pool on grass, I think, I don't know, but all to say that I used the tile from the Desert Lax kit to make it seem like they then added the tile later on when they decided to get the swimming pool. And I also used the terrain paint to give a little bit more dimension to the tile like mine looks like in real life. And I hope it makes sense what I'm saying, because you know, sometimes I don't like how the tile has no dimension, especially when you build outside. That's why I like to use the terrain paint to make it seem like there's some thickness to the tile, or sometimes I would also use the very low fans from Get to Work. As you can see, as you could see actually, I was furnishing the back patio. I placed down a couple of lounge chairs with an umbrella by the swimming pool and some other chairs from the Perfect Patio staff pack in that light blue swatch, which almost matches the color of the water from the swimming pool. Then in the backyard there's a grill, and I also decided to place down the activity table from Growing Together. I can't remember what it is, but it's in the activity section because I felt like there weren't enough things to do basically in this house, so I wanted to have more activities to do with the entire family, and I thought it was kind of cute to have that in the backyard. Another thing from Growing Together that I used is the toddler slide because this family has kids, so I thought it was nice to place that down. And I know that I said this family has an infant, but maybe that slide used to belong to another kid, maybe that grew older, and now they decided to keep it for when the infant age up. And yeah, as you can see, I've now moved on onto the inside of the building. The first room that I furnish is the entry. I love how that yellow door looks, especially with the yellow doormat, which is actually not a doormat because it's actually a big rug from My Wedding Stories game pack, but I size it down to make it look like a doormat because I really like how the yellow looks with the door. This house turned out actually very colorful. I tried to use a mix of stuff that maybe look more traditional, but also other stuff that looks more fun. And you know, I imagined that maybe the kids chose that stuff or the family bought it because they wanted to make the house a little bit more colorful for the kids. I really tried to make this house as realistic and as lived in as possible on the inside, so I used a lot of clutter, and as you could see in the entry, I placed down, I think it's like a baby carrier by the table, which maybe was left there when the family came back, or maybe one of the parents just came back from grocery shopping with the infant and left the baby carrier there. That would also make sense considering the fact that in the kitchen I placed down some grocery bags on a counter, so yeah, it actually makes sense as if someone just did the grocery with the infant. Moving on to the next room, which is the dining room. Even there, I tried to make it a little bit more colorful, and even if it's the more formal dining room, I tried to make it look cozy. So I went for a chair from Jungle Adventure, the Jungle Adventure game pack, in an orange swatch because I really like how it looks, and then I used the counter from Dream Home Decorator in a black swatch, which however has some orange in it, which I think ties in the orange from the cushion of the chair. I quickly want to mention what I tried to do in that room. Basically, I was trying to build a cabinet for drinks, and where maybe the family keeps some more expensive liqueurs or wine for the guests. And to do that, I also placed down like the wine thingy, I don't know how to call it, from Dine Out. And then to make it look like a cabinet, I used the pieces from the new book Nook kit. And honestly, let me tell you that those pieces are so useful even outside the library context because you can use them for so many things. And then I cluttered them up using some bottles from, I think, the live edit menu or debug. I don't really know because I downloaded this mod, which is for more organized debug. So basically all the things from the live edit menu and the debug menu are now like put into categories. So every time I like open, let's say, I don't know, the decorations catalog, I can see them. So I don't really know from which menu they are from. But yeah, I'm gonna link the mod in the description box below in case you want to download it as well. And yeah, so as I was saying, I placed down some of those bottles which look like liqueurs. Moving on to the next room that I was furnishing, on the opposite side of the dining room, we find the study room or the home office, I don't know how to call it, but in there I try to make it as realistic as possible as well, because basically I was thinking about, you know, when you have like an extra room in your house, and then because there are so many people in the household, you try to make it like almost multifunctional for more than one person, and that's what I tried to do there. I imagined that that room is the home office for one of the parents when they have to work from home, but then since I imagined that one of the children of this house is into music, I thought that maybe for one of their birthdays, the parents decided to buy as a gift a big upright piano so they could practice. And they placed the piano in that room because it was the only room that had space for that big piano. Moving on to the next room, I'm furnishing the kitchen. I love how it turned out. I tried to make it as lived in as possible. I cluttered it up a lot. For the first time since I started my YouTube channel, I think I'm using the base game counter. That counter feels very cozy and traditional to me, and most of the time I feel like I tend to go for more modern counters because I tend to build like more modern houses and farmhouses. But I have to point this out about the kitchen because I realized this when I was editing the video. Basically, before you say it, I know that there isn't a fridge. I completely forgot about it. I know, but don't worry, I already added one, so now there's a fridge in this house, and I don't know how I managed to forget about the fridge. Oh, and beside the fridge, I also forgot about the oven, but again, don't worry, I already went back to this house to fix some things like the terrain paint, which got deleted for some reason. So when I fixed that, I also placed down the fridge and the oven. I can't believe that I put a microwave, which is not something I use a lot, but not an oven. Anyway, as I said before, I cluttered up the kitchen a lot. On the island, you could see that I placed down some grocery bags from the bag and bottles of water to make it seem as if someone just came back from the store, as I said before. Then I also placed down a book and the pencil thingy from the base game to make it seem as if one of the children was doing their homework in the kitchen. And next to the book, there's also this cake thingy, which to me is like a banana bread from the base game. Yeah, I know. I don't know why, but I think it's a banana bread. In my head, it is. Anyway, and I thought of myself when I was doing that because basically when I was in high school and I was doing my homework, I always wanted something to eat next to me. So I thought that maybe this kid is the same. As you can see in the as you could see in the same room, we also have a breakfast nook. I decided to place down like mismatched chairs because I thought that it would have been more realistic in a house like this. So basically, maybe when you have a family that it's constantly growing, you maybe, I don't know, you buy some chairs and then a couple of years later or 3 years later, your family grows and you need more chairs, so you're gonna end up buying more chairs. But the thing is, maybe you're not gonna be able to find the same chairs that you bought few years before. So that's what I was thinking when I was furnishing that little breakfast nook. That's why I decided to place down different chairs. And since we're now more than halfway into the video, I think this is a good time to talk about the new expansion pack which comes out on the 20th of July. I really need to talk about this because we're getting horses. No one would have ever thought that we could have got horses in The Sims. It seemed so impossible for some reason, but not so impossible for The Sims gurus. They will finally give us horses. And if you're not a fan of horses, I'm so sorry, but I have to talk about this because I'm so excited. I am a horse girl, so yeah, I know that I'm gonna love this pack. And I used to love The Sims 3 packs, which came with horses, so I used to be like obsessed with that pack. And I've been practicing horse riding for like over 8 years, and I also have a little horse, so I'm really into the equestrian world, and I am so excited for this pack. I've been wanting something like this for so long, And I'm sorry if some of you are disappointed because they didn't want this pack, but I have to share my happiness and excitement with you because when I saw the little video on Instagram, I was like, wow. I even shared the video on my personal private account, even though I normally don't share the Sims stuff there, but I was so excited that I had to do it. And yeah, I couldn't believe it was happening. I've seen also a lot of people saying that horses should have come with cats and dogs, but I think that because horses are like a huge addition, they maybe need an expansion pack just for them. I also think that when Cats and Dogs was released, which was like so many years ago, they maybe didn't even think about horses as a possibility because, I don't know, horses are really hard, I think, to make in the game. And maybe later on, since many people kept asking, they decided to work on horses and give us horses in The Sims 4. Or maybe not. I honestly have no idea how it works behind the scenes, so I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I am definitely happy that we are getting this expansion pack. Again, I think horses come with a lot more things and a lot more interactions than cats and dogs. So I'm really happy that they dedicated just one pack just for them. I also saw that with the pack we're gonna get little adorable goats and sheep. I'm so excited. And so yeah, in this case I'm very excited both for the gameplay part and of course for the building part because I cannot wait to build a Norse ranch, and I think it's gonna be my next video probably. Also, the gameplay part is gonna be so much fun from what I've seen from the trailer. Of course, there are going to be some bugs as always, but it seems really fun. Beside the fact that you ride horses, which is already a big thing for me, and you can get involved in competitions, but there's also the off the saddle part, which seems really fun. Obviously, this is just my personal opinion, but yeah, basically, your Sims can experience all the aspects of a working ranch, and that sounds really exciting to me. The Sims can also craft their own nectar from different things, and from what I've seen, the nectar will have different effects on Sims. Also, the world looks so cool, very rustic, and it's definitely got the American West vibe, which I love. I really like the concept of living on a ranch. I follow on Instagram many accounts which show their life on a ranch, and I love that. My dream has always been to own a ranch and live the ranch life, so this might be my favorite pack so far. Anyway, let's talk about the build right now. As you could see, I moved on upstairs, but I quickly want to talk about what I did in the other rooms downstairs. So in the living room, I decided to place down also the toy basket from the base game because I thought that it was kind of cute to have it in the living room because when the family is maybe watching the TV, the infant stays in the same room with them and plays with some toys. I think also in real life, when you have a baby, you're going to have toys everywhere, not just in the baby's room. And moving on to the next room downstairs that I was furnishing, it was, I think, the laundry room. In there, I put a washing machine, a tumble dryer, and that's pretty much it. As you could see, probably, I don't know if you noticed, but throughout the entire house, I tried to place on the walls what look like to be kids' drawings or stickers that maybe the kids would stick on the walls. So you could see that I did that in the kitchen and in the laundry room. I also put like small posters in the laundry room and also in the garage, in the little entryway that I did, I put some drawings that look like made by kids that are from seasons. and I decided to place them down in the garage because my thought process was that those drawings were made by the teen when it used to be little, and now that they grew up, the parents moved those drawings in the garage because maybe they don't want them in the kitchen, or maybe the drawings were in a teenager's bedroom, and growing up obviously they didn't want those drawings in their room anymore, so the parents moved them in the garage because they are attached to those drawings and they don't want to get rid of them. And I tried to make the garage of this house as realistic as possible because sometimes I turn the garage of the houses that I make into a bedroom or into another room like the gym, but in this case I thought of using the garage as a proper garage, or maybe like a storage room where the family keeps all the stuff that maybe the kids don't use anymore because they grew up and they want maybe to give this stuff to charity, so they put all that stuff in a box and keep it in the garage to, yeah, give it to charity, maybe like clothes, you know. And I was thinking about my house also. Basically what I did was to use the shelf unit from high school years, and in there I put some shoes. And yeah, as I said, I was thinking about my house because we keep the shoe rack in the garage, so I thought of doing the same thing in this house. There's also like a chest press in there in case your Sims want to work out. Anyway, let me quickly talk about the upstairs. So I quickly furnished the hallway, and as you can see in the hallways, there's like a little balcony that is open to below. So if your Sims look down, they can see the hallway downstairs, and I really like doing that in like suburban family homes because I see that a lot in real life, so I try to replicate that in The Sims as well. And in the hallway there are a couple of chairs and an aquarium, and that's pretty much it. Then moving on to the parents' bedroom, you could see that I placed down the bed from Dream Home Decorator in that kind of green swatch. For some reason I noticed that lately I'm in my green era in The Sims. Everyone is obsessed with blue swatches in the game, but for some reason I really love the green swatches. But anyway, this room was a bit of a struggle because it's quite big and I didn't know what to do. So I ended up placing down also a closet from the Get Together pack just to get rid of some space because yeah, it's I think quite a big room. Then there's an ottoman by the window, and the ottoman you could see I basically placed on that the folded shirt item from the base game and a pillow, which is actually from the live edit menu, I think from high school years, and I think it looks really nice there. So now I think it's the perfect time to quickly talk about what I did with the kids' bedroom, because I had imagined a little bit of their personality when I was furnishing the bedrooms. So the first kid's bedroom that I was furnishing, personally imagined that that kid is a girl, and I was thinking about a specific character from a TV series on Netflix when I was furnishing that room. I don't know if you have watched it, but I was thinking about Enid, the werewolf from Wednesday, the TV show on Netflix. If you have watched that show, you know that she is the complete opposite of Wednesday. And her side of the room, because she shares the room with Wednesday, and her side of the room is like very colorful, obviously compared to Wednesday's side that's really like black and dark. And her nails are always painted in different colors, and she has this very bubbly personality. She also speaks a lot and she can be quite annoying sometimes, but that's the personality that I had in mind when I was furnishing the kids' bedroom. So as you could see, that bedroom is really, really colorful and I love how it turned out. And I imagined that this kid is a kid, but they are in the phase when they are slowly becoming a teen. So they start wanting to put their makeup on and do things that are more for a teenager, but they still have some toys in their room because they're still kids, so they still like to play sometimes and they still like toys. So they're in this weird phase, and that's why I also placed down like some stuff that's like makeup things from the, I think it's the high school years, but then in the bathroom I placed down the makeup bag from the, I think it's a kit, but yeah, the everyday clutter kit. It's really hard to remember all the names. Anyway, as you can see, her room as also an ensuite bathroom, and I decided to decorate it with a lot of colors as well to make it look like it belongs to that kid and that they wanted to decorate it according to their own tastes. And this is the only bathroom I decided to include in this video because otherwise the video would have been too long. But if you're curious to see the other two bathrooms, one of which is the parents' bathroom, you can check out the screenshots at the end of the video. In all my videos at the end, I always upload screenshots of the entire house in case you missed something, because I know they move really fast and it's not really easy to follow. The next room is the nursery for the infant. You can see that again, my obsession for the color green is back. I think that in terms of baby stuff, the best swatch is green. I don't know, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't know why I'm always drawn to that color. I love green nurseries, maybe also because they remind me of nature, and I like when nurseries are nature themed. But yeah, I really like how that room turned out. I went for the wallpaper from the base game and I really like that one. It's really cute because it's got dinosaurs and I think it's perfect for a baby's room. And then yeah, I placed down the bed from the base game, and I also decided to use the pieces from the book Nook kit that I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I also used in the dining room to create like a bookcase for some books and some other stuff, because I'm not a huge fan of the smaller bookcases that we have in The Sims. So I decided to make one myself, and then in there we also find the changing table, which is from Growing Together, and then there's a blur feed. I also used the curtains from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, which honestly I never used those curtains, never ever, but I thought to try something different and I thought they looked kind of good there because they have some green. And yeah, then to add to the nature theme that I mentioned before, I decided to use the rug from high school years in the green swatch, which has basically little flowers. I thought it was really cute. Moving on to the next room, it's the teenager's room. This teen could be either a boy or a girl. For this teenager, I had in mind a different storyline. So this teenager is completely the opposite of their sister. They are introverted and like to spend time alone in their room. And I imagined that this teenager is into music. This is the kid that I was talking about before. And because of that, the parents bought them a piano. I also thought that maybe in the beginning they used to be into sports because, as I said, one of the parents used to play basketball in high school, and you know, they were trying to kind of push this kid into sports, but then they realized that this kid loves music so much and that they want a career in the music industry. This kid is a natural talent, so for them playing an instrument comes really natural and it's really easy. As you could see, their room, it's really like music themed, and I placed down two guitars and the keyboard. So they really like to play instruments and maybe they even write music in their free time. That's why they like to spend a lot of time in the bedroom alone. Maybe is the singer and also plays the guitar in the band, and they maybe practice in the garage. So yeah, that's the storyline. For this reason, I decided to place down a lot of posters that are like music related in the room. Also the bed sheet as like a guitarist, so I thought it was like perfect for that room. And I also placed down like a computer because I imagined that, you know, when you like produce music, you need like a really nice computer to have those programs that are needed to make music. So I tried to make it seem as if they produce music in their room. So on the desk you can find, I don't know, maybe the headphones and yeah, other things that I imagined are for producing music. music. And that's pretty much it for today's video. So I hope you guys liked the house. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching, and the screenshots should be starting now, so I'm going to end the voiceover. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.